Today is March 14th, 2014. My name is Emily Smith. On Outside Linguistics today, we will be having a brief discussion on the relativity of interfaith symbolism, which will be presented by Harry, who is the founder and president of the Interfaith Study and Community Development Association. So Harry, this is your opportunity to share with us what high definition.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me in your program. My name is Harry, the founder and president of Interfaith Study and Community Development Association. Our non-profit organization committed to bring a better understanding among religious people, and we are committed to bridge the gap and try to dispel and clarify all kind of misconception. All kind of misconception about Islam, about Christianity, about Prophet Muhammad, about Jesus, and all related with this issue. We also committed ourselves in a deep analysis study, comparing and contrasting two major scripts, the Quran and the Bible, side by side comparison between Quran and the Bible. So we are inviting everyone, all these people, to come together to sit down in dialogue and discussion. Try to share our thought and perspective. So with the idea is that we have to get together. We have to get united. We have to get together on the basis of similarity, and we try to put aside our differences. Because if we were to stay focused on the differences, it's never gonna end. So we have to stay focused on the similarity. So to put it another way, each and every religion, no matter how different they are, there always some aspect of similarity, some commonality. So we have to get a common ground. We have to get together on the basis of similarity and overlook the differences.
So may I interject here? How does symbolism,
Right.
this reflective
Right.
form of symbolism that's here,
Right.
how does that create a quality of similarity for
Right.
possibilities
Right.
for
Right.
broadened
Right.
aspects of understanding in
Right.
interfaith dynamics?
In our research study, we were be able to bring idea, to bring concept, how to bring about understanding the middle part. That's something that appealing to the community. So in our research study, we were able to set up the concept, which is the HD. So the HD stand for heart doctor, meaning the doctor of the heart. So meaning I'm placing myself as a doctor of the heart, because what I'm attempting to do here is sort of like surgery, like a doctor doing some surgery in the hospital. So likewise, what I'm doing here, I feel like doing some surgery. Okay. So I'm doing surgery. I'm conducting surgery within the body of the church. I'm conducting surgery within the people of the heart, within the people of mind. So we have to admit, we have to realize that there is a disease, the disease of the heart in us as human being. For instance, we have the disease of the heart, like close-minded, a close heart. We have prejudice or enmity or hatred or bigotry. Those are the disease of the heart, as well as being double-minded, being hypocritical. So okay, so those are the diseases of the heart, need to be cured, need to have some remedy. So what I'm attempting to do here is sort of doing some surgery within the religion, within the body of the church, within the people mind, the people heart. So what I'm trying to say also, religion, first of all, like I said, the HD stand for heart doctor or doctor of the heart. Also the HD also stand for the high definition, meaning in our research study, what we attempt to do, we're doing some research, some intellectual reasoning, some academic study. So in our perspective, I think we need to get back to the root cause of the conflict. We need to study deep and deeper. We need to study the history. We have to study the origin of the religion. We have to study what we believe before we claim, before we believe it. We have to study. We have to know what we believe before we start, before we claim it, before we boast it. So again, like I said, it's this stand for the heart doctor or doctor of the heart, and also stand for high definition. So in our research study, we were praise to God Almighty, we will be able to set the concept, the idea. We will be able to define every word, every term before we claim it. So we have in our research study the definition of the word God. In our research study, we will be able to define every term, every word, every religious term, every religious word. So thing has to be defined before we claim it, before we believe it. So we have almost all the definition of every religious term, religious word.
Okay, so in that moment, right, in this moment rather, when I consider a part of the aspect of those of us who reside in America in relative poverty, and then the affect of symbolism when you are a poor group of people and you reach out to people in the hierarchy to help you. And I'm trying to get a better understanding and hopefully a stronger message for like people in poverty, like as we endure like life away from frustrating relationships. Because the dynamics of materialism puts our more dominant need in a space of having more money, like finance, not having more of friction that may come through substance use, misuse or abuse, abusive lover, or violence. Like, we know we have those things, but we also live equally sometimes next to people. And sometimes, like when you look at the sources of helpful wellness, the aspect of I still have to be a positive agent, whether anybody knows me, whether the work I do is unknown. And what I'm concerned about from your academic perspective, how would you like express to those to help to have a better meet, and when that meeting doesn't come, like for what you actually need is money to take care of things in your society, how do people of poverty in America like create a relative understanding for the support that they need that comes through that measure, because it may not be there. Like, what is the symbolism aspect, like the conversion of that affect? You understand what I'm saying? Because sometimes it sounds like it's a whine sometimes when poor people like have ideals. The most difficult thing is for them to reach the person that has it. Like, you may have a competitor, but if you don't get the opportunity for your organization to be supplemented, nobody really sees that meaning, but you know you still have to work like in a connective positivity way in your community. Like even if you have a welfare check or SSI, like you still have to work positive until you meet that source that can help you meet the conversion of your village. You know what I mean? That's away from like, I gotta get beat up for you to come down and help me. I have to be seized in like, but if I look well, then you don't feel like I need your help. So, and I'm saying, like, when I look at this symbol and this symbol and that symbol, like, these are major symbols. Like, this more is like a symbolism of Christianity, this more about Islam, this more of Judaism. But our reasons about stardom and having fear of being taken into idolatry. But when you bring God's meaning through Jesus' realism, and you're not a star, but you're still a poor person in need, you need to be that positive agent still, but you're not getting rich like certain people, but you still need to make that. So how do we meet what I'm trying to get to is the point of the symbolic message of interfaith. Because as a growing Christian, I have to be concerned that my Christian Zionist perspective is not taken into idolatry. I have to make sure it's not making me cling to see people as devils or demons and want to stage
Right.
war with them,
Right.
think they're beast incarnates and different things like
Right.
that. And if those visualizations come up,
Right.
if I'm embarrassed to
Right.
speak about it, where do I meet a
Right.
comfortable conversion to,
Right.
to move myself?
Right.
How do I reach people who may be struggling with
Okay.
that form of idolatry
Yeah.
and don't seem to have a way out because they're not a star?
Right. Right. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. I think this is what I can say. If you look at the name of our nonprofit, Interfaith Study and Community Development Association. So in this, if you look at the title itself, it contains two aspects here. First of all, Interfaith Study, and then the second aspect is Community Development Association. So we, in our nonprofit, we try to have concentrate on two aspects. The first aspect is the study of faith, study of the belief system, the theological discussion, the study about God, the nature of God, how to get saved, ourselves saved. That's very much important. I think we all can agree that this is very important. The aspect of salvation, how to get ourselves saved. And then the second aspect is community development. So in the second aspect, we want to concentrate on the social issues such as how to help other people, to help neighbor, how to find a job, to create a job, how to help the
Right.
financial issue,
Right.
how to bring to reconcile conflict between neighbor, how to do some counseling, family retreat, how to bring back, to restore the relationship, within the family,
Right.
or to try to help the poor, to help the needy, to help the homeless, feeding them,
Right. Because we
yeah.
have a poor
Yeah.
people in America, but a lot, it seems like this is still the day that America has so much that they give us that some kind of way we didn't want it. And this new wave to help the immigrant is because we don't know how to accept. And it's like you get to a point in your poverty where you feel like you're living a lie with hierarchy. No, you want wellness. And I say that because when I look back, because sometimes I do some writing, and I look back on one of my ancestors,
Right.
Phyllis Wheatley, when she actually wrote in the time
Right.
that it seemed like we were going through different forms of critical, severe issues that cause family
Right.
destruction or African
Right.
culturalism
Yeah,
and
yeah,
family
yeah,
perspectives.
yeah.
And she was criticized a lot, like we're not having that. But it seems like in today's world they're saying we have all of this,
Right,
and now you shouldn't be this person
right,
that has all these problems, so to speak.
right.
But then you have a dominant political statement in America that speaks about like people should just realize that people, especially ones on Social Security and welfare, are always going to feel that they're victims.
Right.
And when you look at God's realism through Jesus and Muhammad, you're not realizing all that.
Right, right.
You're realizing that you are poor, but most of what you realize is that you hardly have any money.
Right.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're not going to say I'm with God as I'm poor and I'm a masochist, because that's what realizing you're always a victim.
Yeah, yeah.
And if rich people think that we're always a victim, then what do? Do we go out and hurt ourselves so they can help bring money to our community?
Yeah.
Because we're doing like a home visit thing,
Yeah.
and then I try to do contracts,
Right.
offer small stipends or contracts to graphic associate.
Right.
Till they find their way. They do have some awareness,
Yeah.
some completion classes,
Right,
and how they may get back to school and be on the job and go. It's a different part, especially if crises have happened into their life, like if they have been arrested, if they have a mental health issue, different things like that. And we do psychological wellness visits in the home and different things like that. So those things are being mandated, but then they're not being appreciated from a part when people sometimes don't want to come in my hood. But I'm willing to work at that.
Right.
So in that awkward form of symbolism, when I'm not a star, but I know that I may live beside people like Spike Lee said, like that, who have similar money, but we're doing different things and we need the help. How does this form of symbolism come to create a high definition from our hierarchy, you know, to help us away from not just realizing we're just a victim? You understand? Because that makes it difficult. I think that wealthy people know that is a difficult moment for even a small business like myself, nonprofit, to really reach the need to like the difficult moment for me to start a business. I mean, does like people through the Black Enterprise and Fortune magazine, yeah, that is a difficult moment. You know what I mean? Because I may do things, but then I may not get what certain people like Martin Luther King and them have talked about, which is an opportunity. But I still have to do that. I still see my community needs to feel that they can be well and not just realize they're a victim. So in that form of symbolism, how do we meet a unified identity? Because these three symbols here to me represents God's realism. What kind of suggestion would you give us for improved unification
I think
amongst our faith?
I think it's a very good question. I like to say this. We have to realize that in living in this life, we have to way of relationship. So we have a social relationship, which is a relationship between within the mankind, within human beings. So we have social relationship between one over the other, you know, between people and other people. And we also have relationship, the relationship between human being and God and God Almighty, the Creator, the Lord of the world. So we have to keep in mind that there are two relationships. So we have to keep, we have to maintain, we have to keep it in the proper way. So we have to maintain our relationship one over the other, with the neighbor, with a fellow human being, you know, regardless what the color, what the race, what the nationality. So we have to keep
irregardless if
Yeah,
we
right.
don't have the money.
Right.
Like I need to continue, you need to continue to reach out what is really possibly unknown, God's meaning for the poor. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and I think poor people, you know, hardly get the chance to ask, because I know for sure that the first thing on your list is not, I want rich people to help me after I got beat up. Like, I would like to have money to work. I would like to have it to start a business. Nonprofit shouldn't be an elusive thing, because people are asking for financial like receipts. Like you can do nonprofit with money for material supply, but hardly we ever get that, because it's more of a wave of a symbolism that they're not really asking for money for jobs. But the reality is, in nonprofit, you are asking for-profit people for money for jobs. So why should a poor person that has an ideology feel so difficult and feel so complicated that they're moving into a newer perspective? How would you know, provide them with supportive means to seek the Lord? Like, because that's what interfaith is about through here. It's about God's realism. It's about how we coexist with Him. So, and in that form of unity, which I could say, no, it's certain things about our Islam and my Israeli Hebrew perspective that I don't know when I look at the academia and scholarly certain history points. But I know I read the Word. And it speaks to me about, you know, how do they help me, you know, why I am poor, you know, and if I have to live with the check, then it shouldn't be expected that a major investor like Charles Schwab should know that my account ain't going to grow past a certain amount because I just ain't getting the money there. You know what I mean? So So we know we can't get rich off of
Right,
savings.
right,
You know, but we know we have a richness in God through
right.
saving
There you go, yeah.
that brings us.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's
So
the key point.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let me get back to the previous thing that I tried to explain. So we have the relationship in this worldly life. We have two relationships between human being and the fellow guy and the fellow person. We have to help each other. You know, we have to understand and we have to be respectful. We have to be tolerant, regardless what the color, what nationality, what the ethnicity. And then the second aspect about the relationship between God with the Lord of the world. So we have, and that will be tackled on the theological issue. So let me put it this way: when it's come to a religious issue, religious belief, we have sort of some preconceived notion. You know, each religion they're holding wholeheartedly the preconceived notion, the preconceived idea or pre-mindset, or the truth is our, and then they falsify the belief.
But you know,
So,
Harry, I'm not
yeah,
really moving towards religion more
right,
than
right.
the truth about faith.
Right.
Like, and I want you to offer something to that for people in relative poverty, because that is the truth that we have to deal with. The truth about our money that's ignored
Right.
over poverty is
Right.
what I'm saying.
Right.
And like these forms of symbols
Right.
bring a dynamic to some of us
Right.
that, you know, we can really meet them,
Right.
especially if you have
Right.
learned about
Right.
God. Like
Right.
a lot of people have had some mosques, they
Right.
have had some truth.
Right.
And I would like to hear more on the relativity
Right.
of that from you, if you didn't mind.
Right.
Because I don't feel
Right.
like it's like
Right.
a diversion from our conversation.
Right.
I believe it's right in your
Right.
statement.
Right.
Like when we look at the
Yeah.
poor
Right.
and we
Right.
look at symbolism
Right.
and things that come down,
Right.
that's what it
Right.
comes down to.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
could
yeah.
you speak
Yeah, I
more
guess-
on the emphasis? Because as a poor person, sometimes you're made to feel, oh, this ain't nothing and that ain't nothing. And if you was with God,
Right.
you would have all of this. God don't
Right.
want you poor. You know, but poverty,
Right.
or what are you saying? What elements of poverty? What is it? Because as a poor person, I'm still human. I still may struggle with hard times, housing crisis, health issues. You know what I mean? But all of that still sitting around in America, I need more money.
Right.
You understand what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And at that point, I need the money for wellness.
Right.
So when I get well, with God, I'm saying, with God to me,
Right.
and that's just been my experience,
Right.
you don't realize you're a victim.
Right.
You don't realize, what you realize is that maybe you didn't report
Right,
your
right.
exploitation
Right,
and your victimization,
right.
and now you look like a criminal to other nations.
Right.
But I'm saying, so in this symbolism, in
Right.
this guidance,
Right.
could you give us a statement on true faith
Right.
that meets us with better subserviency to rich people, that they will come to our communities like Strawberry Mansion and pay for wellness? They will support
Right.
programs like me and you have that provide
Right.
graphic contracts and home visits.
Yeah, I guess what I can say is we need to socialize. We need to promote interfaith dialogue, and then we try to promote understanding between all religious leaders. We try to come together, try to set up a program to provide food for the needy, and try to collaborate with other non-profit and the local government as well. We try to provide funding, and try to set up a program as often as we can, and providing some food, some clothing, some financial issue, help doing some counseling, and try
Right,
to collaborate.
definitely
doing
disciple
some partnership.
spiritual.
Right,
Yeah.
doing some partnership with other, other non-profit. So that's, I think, the best thing we can do. No, and then at the same time, we also move along with understanding, about the good news and about God, to our Lord, and try to improve our moral character. Try to be more conscious, to be more mindful. Try to promote and to encourage people to be more generous, to be helpful, to love one over the other, and that's from the spiritual aspect. We need to encourage. We need to give more advice. We need to get more together and more gathering, and then speak and try to
So
empower
one of
people,
the
yes.
things that you're
Right.
saying, that it's okay
Right.
while we're poor
Right.
to try to maintain our moral conduct.
Yeah, I think at the same time, well, it's kind of hard question now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's naturally.
Well, it's like what you
yeah,
said
yeah.
about the good and bad.
Yeah, I mean,
It's more important
Yeah.
for us to try to look through strengthening through God's goodness, because that's what He
Right,
offers
right.
us. Even if
Yeah.
we're not a star, can't get it,
Right.
don't have a lot of money, don't know what we look like, we don't look that great. You know what I mean?
let's put it this way.
Okay.
It's part of our nature. Naturally, we are human beings. We are in a need. We are needy human being. We need. We have some necessity. We have need to food. We need to have some financial issue. We need to take care of ourselves to stay healthy. You know, we need to go to grocery store. We need to feed ourselves and the family, and that's necessity as human being. And also, we try to find out. We try to help people. You know, to provide some help. You know, try to collaborate, doing some partnership, like I said. And also at the
Well,
same time.
I'll do it like this. What would you say to a person that's doing all they can do? And we're just going to put this one in the poverty limit.
Right.
Like, and they're poor and they're doing all they can do.
Right.
And when they run into somebody that said, like, oh, you can't be with God, you're poor. And they make them feel embarrassed about their relationship with God. How would you encourage them to
all right.
respond if
Okay,
they
all right.
run into somebody
Oh, I see.
that you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
Because I'm concerned. Like, are we meeting poor people with, you know, a
Yeah.
better recognition
Right,
about
right,
their relationship
right.
with God? Because it is a hard state. Like, America kind of makes you feel embarrassed
Right.
that you're operating with the Lord,
Yeah.
and you
Right.
like living in PHA housing
Right,
on welfare
right.
and all that,
Right.
and
You
like,
know what?
come on, let's help them find.
Yeah.
Can you offer a statement like,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
how do you keep them encouraged?
Yeah. I got beautiful answer.
Okay.
In Islam, we are taught that those people who are being poor, living in poverty, in fact, those people are being blessed, being close to God Almighty. In fact, it's a very strong statement. Prophet Muhammad taught us that the first people, the first dweller of the paradise, the first people who will enter the paradise, in fact, will be poor people. Think about it. This is very strong statement, prophetic statement mentioned by Prophet Muhammad, that the first person, the first group of people who will enter the paradise will be the poor people. Now think about it. Those poor people, they are being helpless. They're being suffer, you know. And those people who suffer, who in fact, anybody who suffer, or even up to death, those people are in fact being blessed by the angel and by the Lord. So in fact, being poor is not bad enough. From Islamic perspective, like.
However, though,
Yeah.
Harry, you have to acknowledge
Yeah.
that some poor people get kicked around like that,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so because like we want to deal with it in the truth, because sometimes as a poor group of people,
Right.
and that's one of the most difficult moments.
Right.
Like, you can have an ideology, but you don't get the opportunity,
Right.
and then it seems like some people make a deliberate attempt to
Right.
assure
Right.
that you don't get
Right.
the money.
Right.
But you have to continue in your service and your work with the Lord.
Right.
You know, so you know, even from my Christian perspective,
Right.
and meeting you with your Al-Islamic, you know, we understand that there is unity
Right.
in that form of symbolism.
Right.
You know, that what we may not have down here,
Right.
that are treasured or stored in heaven.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I guess just want to add a little bit. I guess concerning the issue about the poor and the poor living in the poverty, I think the best we can, we have to have each other. We have to keep in touch. We have to have those people who homeless, who needy, try to put it in the shelter, try to seek some help from the local government, try to collaborate with and doing some partnership with
Okay.
non-profit. That's one way, and the other way, we also at the same time So we're doing some counseling, some spiritual counseling, some awareness, some psychological awareness, and give some spiritual counseling to give. I mean, think about it. We human being, we are consist of, our in our body we have mind, body, and soul and spirit. So think about it. So we human being, we're not just flesh and body. Yes, we need food, we need drink, we need clothing. Those are the
because
those are physical aspects.
right.
So what I'm saying is that we have to work on the both side. We have to provide people on the physical need, provide food, drink, and clothing, and also at the same time we have to work inwardly, the spiritual aspect, spiritual food, which is what the guidance, the eternal guidance, the salvation, and everything. So we try to work it both aspect at the same time, moving at the simultaneously.
Yeah, because we live in a system in America that's guided by a financial market, like the dead president, talking about the dollar bill, that we actually may ask the Lord, and we will cling to that image of Him to help us with more money. You know what I mean? And He may not want to see that right now in your hand. You know what I mean? And it may not be never no money in your hand. Like you said, as you meet that bigot may make it never no money in your hand. Or that person that seems to be jealous and want to pull you down because you can't just come off the street and think you're going to get rich without understanding, the different forms and the things that a lot of help programs do offer. Like sometimes it is your mental health. Sometimes it is your substance use and utilization. Sometimes it is the relationship you have with the criminal justice system. And those things. So when you meet yourself, you know what I mean, and you're in that self-will, what type of guidance would you give to poor people who meet that self-will and they know that they're asking God for money, but right now it's not being in their hand? How do they move out of that frustration?
Yeah, I guess.
While they're waiting for the right money.
Yeah, I think we also need to provide some job, to create a job. So we have to tell people that money is not just come like that from sky. Money it's not just come like that. We don't get money for nothing. So we have to give people understanding. So we have some great job. We have to have some creativity.
So we have to connect with them with the creativity. But when that opportunity is lacking, like I said, we're bringing out an awareness to do psychological visits with you, and then also the psychological visits, and then the graphic contracts that we create. You know what I mean? So we have a connectivity of creativity. So we just have to remember, as you said, to stay steadfast in the Lord and hold on to His unchanging moral truth for us to have faith in our three religious perspectives. Thank you for coming and outreaching to us, and I hope that many hear this message. God bless.
I guess the final thought with this, I like to encourage everyone to coming in to get together. Try to sit down, try to understand each other, and then we try to help one over the other, try to provide the needy. So with this, I like to thanks for your attention, for watching this presentation. I hope
and thank you for your prestige.